Hello guys and welcome back to volume 4 of my Forex market breakdown. Pretty much I'm going to start this video by recapping over the 3 pieces of analysis I covered in volume 3. Following last week's trading, pretty much all 3 pieces of analysis worked out perfectly as mentioned. And then after going over these 3 recaps, I'll then just go over to Euro to AUD and post my analysis for the upcoming week. I want to start by just running over the pound US dollar. And we were kind of sitting around here when I posted the volume 3, and I was aiming for a pullback into this short-term region here. To offer any opportunity to long back up into the 1.292 region. However, that didn't occur. I also mentioned that what could happen is that price could gap up and 1.293 would then be immediately hit, and then it would be the case of sitting on our hands and not taking a trade. And that's what actually happened. Price did gap up in the market here. Pulled up, 1.292 and 293 were both hit. We had a little pullback in the market, not substantial enough to obtain an entry. And if we just zoom out on the time frames here, we can see that price very much put in place some strong bullish activity, and we now sit around the region of 1.30500s. For me personally, I'm not looking to trade this pair at all, so I'm not going to provide any analysis for the upcoming week. But you can go back across the other videos and just check out my longer term biases. We still sit within this consolidation range, and I do now believe that resistance is due to be hit, but I will not be taking any trades on this pair at all. Now, going across into another pair that I also broke down last week was the Australian dollar to the Japanese yen. I'll just head down onto the lower time frames. Pretty much we were looking at this consolidation range here. I did mention that when we were sitting at resistance here, when I posted volume 3, I was looking for a pullback into the 78,600 mark from this point here. And if we had that pullback, I would then be entering a short-term long into the 7900s. I wasn't looking to hold this trade beyond this zone. I was only looking for a short-term long entry. And as you can see here, when the markets opened, we did penetrate 7900s. We couldn't sustain above it for too long. We did come back. We fell perfectly into the region of 78,600s. We pinpointed this support. We failed to break it on 2 occasions. We came up, formed a bullish engulfing candle. This could have been, following the volume 3 analysis, a perfect time to enter long. However, I did see the setup and I decided not to act on it, and the reason being was because if I was just to simply go ahead and take this trade here and place my stop loss in my preferred position, which would just hang below support at about 20 pips, and as I said, I was only looking to target 7900s, which only would have offered me a 1 to 5 risk to reward, and for me, the minimum risk to reward that I settle for is a 1 to 2 basis. So although there was opportunity to take this long, I didn't act upon it. We did form a nice high low here. Bullish engulfing candle, break above the 50 EMA. This could have also been another nice long entry if we had a nice tight stop loss. You could have traded this, at least a 1 to 2 risk to reward, or even much greater than that. But again, I wasn't looking to hold this trade above 7900s. But at least that piece of analysis worked out as mentioned and as planned in volume 3. The past 3 weeks that I've been posting the YouTube videos, we've had a lot of success with the analysis. That's because these YouTube videos are allowing me to have a bit of fun with the charts, and just kind of not really care what anybody else thinks, and just provide a lot of information and a lot of analysis and have a bit of fun, play around, and they are working. So again, probably my favourite setup of last week, and the one I broke down and highlighted both on my Instagram, my TradingView, and Volume 3, and I do recommend going back and watching Volume 3, because the analysis on that was very accurate, and pretty much all of what I mentioned played out perfectly. My favourite setup with it was this Australian dollar to US dollar that I provided also on my TradingView. So let's go have a look here. What I did mention was this was pretty much we were sitting around this region here when I broke down on volume 3, and I did say that I was looking for a pullback into this yellow region, 7100s to 71100s, and more specific, I was eyeing this short-term blue region for a perfect entry. I'm not going to mention the reasons why I chose this zone. I think some tricks are best kept up my sleeve. But what happened here was we perfectly touched this blue zone. We broke above the previous lower high. We also broke above 0.71200s. And then when I saw this, I was on the train back from York. I posted this idea on TradingView. I said, following my Forex Market Breakdown Volume 3 YouTube video, I am now looking to enter long, with my first target being at 0.71600s, and once broken, 0.7200s is the long-term target on this pair. I also mentioned that even if we do come down and make new lows, 0.7200s must be hit. It's a very key psychological number on this pair. I'm not going to give the reasons why I truly believe that this had to be hit, even if we were going higher or lower. But I'll just go ahead and play and we can see what happened. So pretty much as soon as I posted this, price, 1, 2, 3 hours and the first target was hit, we consolidated, had a pullback, formed a higher low, and had that final push up to 0.7200s, which was hit, and then price did collapse. So that worked out perfectly. I also did post this on my Instagram. We can go ahead and see here. 5 days ago, here it was. I was saying that following my YouTube video, following my TradingView analysis, we are now heading up to 0.7200s. So just going over onto this pair now, Australian dollar to US dollar, and having a look at where we sit at the moment. I'll get rid of all of this here, all of this last week's analysis, get rid of it. See where we stand at the moment. Head over to the daily time frame. I did actually take that trade last week. I made some great profit on that. It was a great risk to reward setup. So at the moment, I'm not really spending too much time on this pair because I've taken my perfect trade. Probably one of the best trades I've taken in a very long time, especially this year. But I'm not really going to provide an outlook on this. I haven't really spent much time, so I'm not entirely sure which way I favour. I think we're probably due another retest of 0.7200s, because if we were going to make new lows, it was going to happen after this initial 0.7200s retest. Strong bearish engulfing candle. I was out the trade by then, and I thought, okay, we probably will take a dive into the 0700s, but we haven't. So I'm not really going to provide an outlook on this pair as of yet. But I do hope you guys actually found some benefit in last week's video, or maybe even taken a few of those trades, because as I say, they all worked out to pinpoint accuracy, especially this Australian dollar to US dollar trade. I did have a little rant and rave about it when it did hit target on my Instagram, just because it generally was one of my most accurate and most enjoyable setups I had this year, and probably last year as well. However, the moment that you guys have all been waiting for is the analysis for this week. It's currently Monday. I am a bit late on posting this video. I have been busy, but I don't really actively trade Mondays. I feel like the markets are just getting settled, ready for the week ahead. But let's just provide the outlook on Euro to Australian dollar. It's a pair I haven't covered in a while. I did manage to obtain a short, which I talked about in last week's video. But let's see what I think is going to happen on the week ahead. So on the monthly time frame, pretty much we're in this strong area of interest, which pretty much stems from the higher time frame, the monthly time frame, and that's between 1.6200s and 1.600s. I'll just quickly highlight it here. This zone has been key on this pair pretty much since time began. All the way back into 1993 when time began on this pair and TradingView started documenting its price. We came down, we acted as support on numerous occasions, and once we finally had this huge stem down in price, it was then the case of acting as resistance. We can see here in around 2015 we had multiple rejections of this zone, and then more recently we've come back into the zone, and it's looked to also reject this pretty much strong psychological key level. So on the monthly time frame, December's candle had a very strong bullish engulfing, which actually pierced 1.6200s. I have mentioned before that I thought this was a manipulation move. A lot of people probably would have longed after seeing this, knowing that this psychological level had been broken, but in fact January's candle was very strongly bearish, and when we closed below 1.600s, and we kind of sat on some lower time frame support. But this current month we had another retest of 1.600s, and we've fallen back down now. So let's go into the weekly time frame and just have a look at this pair in more depth. So here we go. Pretty much at the moment, price is very range bound and consolidating a bit all over the place. Since breaking out and falling back down, what we've done is we're kind of bouncing within this consolidation range that sits at 1.57500 as support and 1.600 as resistance. Since we dived back in, we had one test, two tests of 1.600, back down into support, two tests of support, back up resistance, 1, 2, 3 tests of resistance, back down, and a further test of support. We have yet to break either level, and I think what I'm looking for is pretty much to decide the longer term bias on this pair. We need to either see a break and close below 1.600s for us to go higher to 1.6200s, or for us to go lower to 1.5500s, we need to see a clear break and close below 1.57500s. However, looking for a more short-term swing trades, let's go into the daily time frame. You can just see this consolidation range a little bit clearer. As you can see, once we entered this zone, we had those tests of resistance. We had a false breakout here. A lot of people probably would have shorted off this. However, we boosted back up, fell down, formed a higher low on support, and this huge, massive bullish engulfing candle came. Again, probably a lot of people would have longed off this candle, but we never really got that break and close below 1.600s. Fell back down, another test of support, a very strong bullish candle. We probably still would have had a lot of long trades taken here, but 1.6 still hasn't been broken, so none of those longs would have been valid, I don't believe, yet. However, one thing to mention is with those strong bullish candles, it does show that there is a lot of bullish momentum still in this pair. Now, I always talk about how I do prefer to trade against the trend, and personally for me that is on the short side of this pair. However, with these candles being shown here, it is saying that actually price could still go higher, but 1.600 needs to be broken. Heading even further onto the lower time frames, we have the 4-hour time frame. I've just marked on two short-term areas of interest, one at 1.58200s and the other at 1.59400s. Now, pretty much price has currently, since the market opened, price has been in a huge decline. The reason I've marked this one here is because actually this is the previous higher low. So we were coming down here, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. The trend shifted. We formed a higher low. We failed to break below these lows, and price put in that strong bullish candle which I talked about on the daily time frame. So If price is going to have another test of support, what I need to see happen is 58200 be pierced and closed. Therefore, that bullish trend structure has been broken, and then the next target would be 57500s. However, we have been in a long descent at the moment, and price looks very overextended to the bearish favor. So what could happen is we could see a turn in the market. We could see a pullback occur. Now, if this was to occur, I would be looking for price to take itself back up to 5.9400s. If we saw this play and we saw this move, I would then be looking across the 15-minute to hourly time frames for some wick candles forming, and hopefully some bearish short-term candles forming, where I could then probably activate a short back down into 58200s or even lower. I could take this one down into the range consolidation support of 57500s. With this in mind, if we do get the pullback, and we do actually break and close below 1.59400, I will not be executing any shorts at all. I will then be looking for a price to make another dive back in and test of 1.600. I will not be activating any long trades on this pair. Well, that being said, it's a case of being very patient. If we don't get the pullback in price and we still break below this short-term support here, then I still won't be activating any shorts. I will then be looking for 57500s to be broken, and then some sort of pullback on price, be that back up to 57500s or back up into the short-term support, and then I will look for the longer-term shorts into that daily region that I was talking about down here. There's a lot of ways that price could move on this pair. My bias is very mixed. However, I only really can favour a short trade. But as mentioned, it's just a case of sitting on our hands, being patient and accepting what price gives us, and pretty much just seeing what we can make out of it. What I'll probably do though is, if I do see a possibility to enter, I will be posting the exact trade setup on my Instagram, so make sure you go ahead and follow NickLindleyFx. As you can see last week, after posting that Forex market breakdown, we had that perfect trade which I posted on the Australian dollar to US dollar, and just recapped here. And I have been bringing a few trading tips to my Instagram as well, which hopefully you guys can have a little read and take some little hints and tips from me just to improve your trading. Well, that being said, guys, that's the only pair I'm going to cover. We had a really successful week last week, so a lot of the pairs haven't given me a good enough opportunity to consider entering, except from Euro to Australian dollar. It's going to be a slow week for me. For you, it might be completely different. Everybody perceives the markets differently. But make sure you go ahead and follow the Instagram to keep up to date with how I'm trading and what I'm trading. Also, make sure you go ahead and follow my TradingView under the same name, NickLindleyFx. Again, that's where I post my longer term biases and time frames on certain currency pairs. I also want to quickly go over and highlight this USD Japan trade, which I believe I did cover in one of my earlier... Actually, no, I didn't, sorry. I posted this on January the 27th. I never really recapped on it. But this was another perfect, accurate trade. I really did go into a lot of detail breaking down this pair below. But what actually happened was I was looking for a retest into 10900s after seeing some consolidation. There was further reasons why I believed 10900 had to be hit before going higher. But again, I'm going to keep those secrets up my sleeve. But let's just go ahead and see what happened. So we broke slightly below 10900s, probably enticed a lot of short plays into the trade, but we did come back up and this trade was fulfilled pretty much to the pip. Anyway guys, thank you for watching. I just want to say a massive thank you to the 2 subscribers that have subscribed recently. I appreciate you guys. I hope we can build the fan base a bit more, and we can get a lot more people benefiting from these videos. Again, I'm providing all this content for free, just out of sheer fun and passion for the industry. So make sure you share this video, give it a thumbs up if you found it beneficial, leave a comment if there's any pairs that you would like me to cover in next week's video. But as always guys, have a great week and make sure you catch me next week on Volume 5.